Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I'm excited because I have a friend who's also a life coach and an author. Michelle Larkin is here today just to talk to us because it's a new year. Talk to us about change because, if we go from one year to the next, we get older, we get wiser. So, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I think this is my second or third time, but always a pleasure. And as you say, friends and connections, we pour into each other. So I'm grateful for the year.
So before we get started into really just talking about, embracing and navigating change, I want you to share what inspired you to write your book. And I wrote it down, Managing My Crown, a workbook for cultivating confidence and coping with change.
I was excited to put on paper what I have repeated over and over again to clients. And one of the things I have found is that these two things are common to people who are seeking coaching and to people who get overwhelmed or get stuck, right? So, cultivating confidence and coping with change are the two tools that I wanted to put in a book so people could take it with them, work on it in their own time, learn from the lessons, and cultivate their own life strategy based on what triggers them and how they chose to respond to those triggers.
So talking about the change, because we're in a new year and there are some habits, routines that maybe we should have left in the last year. So what are some reasons why sometimes we just kind of hold on to those things that are really not moving us forward?
It's so funny because the thing that we want is the peace and joy that comes on the other side of whatever change we're trying to make, whether that's losing weight or getting a new job or responding differently to triggers. But one of the things that we avoid the most is discomfort.
Mhm.
And there is no growth without discomfort. So why do we not actually make and stick to the change? It's because we avoid the very thing that's going to take us to the other side. And part of that is the reason why I wrote Managing My Crown is to recognize that that is a paradigm that of life that once you lean into that, you can welcome discomfort, work through it so it doesn't damage your confidence and it doesn't make you avoid change so that you can continue to move forward. So again, coaching in a book is what that is.
So, do you have like a couple of strategies maybe for people who they're at a place where they're frustrated? They want to change, but they're just kind of afraid to take those steps.
I think the steps that for work best for me and have I've seen work for others is number one, what we call a brain dump. Is really can be more structured if you do mind mapping, where you take one element that you are really focusing on, say it's weight. So you put weight in the middle of the paper, and then you start branching off as what are the concerns and you link them, and you start to see what side of the paper is heavier than the other, and there you got to see where your time is spent and where your priorities need to be. So a
Mhm.
mind mapping exercise allows you to visualize the weighted energy that you're spending and how you can potentially redirect that. From there, I would say the next thing for me is after I found those things is to put a strategy in place, a list, right? A strategy of what I really want to accomplish in this area that I've identified, and then list out the smaller tasks that it will take to get there. And of course, I learned that from you too, is that if you break a big task into smaller pieces, it's so much more achievable.
And I like what you said because you said it's about not the discomfort. Because it's sort of like, you want to exercise. You always say, oh, yeah, I'm going to exercise at the beginning of the year. But it also, for us, it's a little cooler on this side of the country. So it's like the bed is so warm and so comfortable. And you're like, oh my goodness, do I have to get up? Do I exercise? But then when you start thinking of, wow, these are some of the changes that will take place. And sometimes I guess when that is a lot stronger than staying in that warm bed, that's when definite change takes place.
I would
So,
agree.
so Michelle, like how do you stay organized? Because you've got clients, you've got children, you've got your personal life, and of course, you're author and you're traveling with that. Like, how do you manage it?
I would say one of the benefits of being a coach is learning all of these tools. But I would say the one that makes me clear the most is meditation. When I get to start my day with meditation, so I'm not running into the day and I'm not reacting to the day, then all of those other things, the mind mapping, the vision, the list, and we all have lists, um, can get done with context, right? So it's not like if I don't do something, I failed as a person. It's I've grounded myself to what's best for me to complete today will get completed because I will give the time to that. And what has to wait till the next day is okay. Similar to what you said, like why we don't change is because we focus on the discomfort rather than the outcome. If we kept focusing on what the outcome was and didn't worry about the discomfort, we would more likely get there. Same with the daily task of staying focused. What do I really want to accomplish today? But I can't do that if I haven't meditated in the morning.
Mm. So, Michelle, how can people connect with you, but also how can they get your workbook?
Well, everybody can get the workbook because it's on Amazon. Managing My Crown on Amazon. You can get it there. There's also the Kindle version, so you can get a digital version. Um, the coaching for me is queensmoves.net. If you want to get coaching, there's a free clarity session. If you wanted to just have a situation, you just want to have a call, you can do that. And then queens underscore moves underscore coaching on Instagram. This year, look forward to some really cool, encouraging content and some lives because we're going to do some lives.
Oh, and I'm looking forward to the lives, and I'm also looking forward to because I know because you're traveling around the country with the book, I'm also looking forward to seeing where you will be next. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for your time and always just drop it in a few nuggets that can help us specifically in a new year really navigate change.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and may everyone who's listening have the best year ever.